Hello YouTube, this is Necrostevo and you're watching one of my narrated Wi-Fi battles. It is at this point I would like to wish you all a happy anniversary as we've been together a year now and I just don't feel like the magic is gone at all. So thank you all for sticking with me for a year and I hope you all are still continuing to enjoy my content. Today we have an OU match against Connor. Trainer Connor is one of my Twitter followers and this is one of the first battles we had, if not the first one. And this is a little unusual for me, but I am actually going to bring a real team. Like, I actually thought about this team and sat down and planned it out and then bred all the Pokemon for it after testing it on PO and all that good stuff. Now, I start off with Choice Banded Infernape, nicknamed after my little brother there, just because I figured I could hit anything on his team pretty hard. And even though that Jellicent resists the Flare Blitz, it's almost a 2-hit KO, and it would be after Stealth Rock. So, um, that's some good solid damage in right there. I knew not to go for Flare close combat because he had Jellicent who could be immune to it completely. So here I was expecting him actually to go for maybe Toxic or something like that. But he hits me with a Shadow Ball, and seeing how much that did, I can take 3 of those. And I'm just going to get in some wonderful residual damage with Will-O-Wisp, but I miss. Which sucks because now he's going to get another Shadow Ball on me. And then he gets a special defense drop, which means I can't take another one after Leftovers. So I missed my chance to get residual damage. I didn't get a chance to hit him at all. So that was kind of a waste of time. I go out into Venusaur here. This is a physically defensive Venusaur. I also run a physically defensive Jellicent. Just because the metagame right now is very physically centric. At least in Black and White it is. The Black and White 2 matches I've been watching, it's interesting how much the metagame has kind of shifted over towards special because of how many of the new forms really benefit from special attacks and the rain. Keldeo, the Tornadus, and the Thunderous new forms, the Therian forms. Very, very interesting to see, and I can't wait to get access to a lot of that stuff. Now here he Volt switches, and it's funny because he activates my Trap card, aka the Red card, which means he doesn't get to choose who he switches out into, so he didn't really get switching priority there. Unfortunately, it sends him back out into his Ferrothorn, which was basically the only thing that I didn't want to see, because yes, I could stay in here and just set up my entry hazards on it, um, and I could also just spin his away, but that gives him a chance to set up his too. Now here I thought he was going to keep on setting up spikes, but for some reason he goes for Thunder Wave, and I guess he just predicted that, because I could have just kept setting up my spikes too, and there's no real point in Thunder Waving a Forretress. So either he had really good prediction right there, or he just randomly decided to switch up moves. Either way, that works out really, really nicely for him. Flare Blitz is still going to do a ton of damage to Jellicent here, and I knew that after the entry hazard damage and the damage I saw that it did last time, it's going to come in, it's going to be asleep, and I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO it. Um, I get paralyzed on the second turn here that the Jellicent is in, but that's not a big deal as long as I don't get paralyzed next turn and he wakes up and kills me with the Surf or something like that. Uh, since I'm paralyzed, Infernape's utility is cut down quite a bit, especially since I don't have Mach Punch on this one. I have 2 different Infernape, and this one is the one without Mach Punch, so it's gonna be hard to use it really. Here I switch out thinking that I might be able to use Infernape later on. I wasn't really sure. I was expecting him to go for a fighting attack, so it's a free switch in for me. And then most likely he won't be able to kill me because I'm physically defensive and I can get off a recover, and it turns out that I'm faster anyway. I see the Toxic Orb activate and I'm like, oh, it's a Guts Conch Elder. Well, they're mostly Guts anyway, but most of the time you see him carry Leftovers and go for bulk ups. But here you see how much damage that one Stone Edge did, and I was thinking, I can probably stall this thing out. Just put my hand on my chin, and that's literally what I was thinking. I don't normally go for that type of thing in an OU match or in any match really, but since I made that bad play with my Infernape, I need to swing the momentum back into my favor a little bit. So as long as he doesn't get a critical hit, I am most likely going to be able to stall him out. I talked to Connor after the battle, and he and I both agree that he probably shouldn't have stayed in there for those extra hits, but he probably was just fishing for the crit, which was not a bad strategy. He goes into his Galvantula here, and that was a good switch because he switched it on the turn that I went for recover rather than when I attacked. And I wasn't really sure what I wanted to switch out to. I figured Venusaur could take whatever it had to throw at me, but I didn't know if it were Specs or if it were Life Orb or any of that, or even Scarf. I've seen Scarf Galvantula too. So I wanted to kind of be sure of that. I go into Kingdra knowing that I can take one Thunder, and then I realized that I forgot to change the moves on Kingdra from when I was using it in the Striaton Challenge. And I also didn't change the EVs. So that completely failed, as that Kingdra was completely useless, and I basically just threw it out there and it died for no reason. Um, so that was unfortunate. I tend not to make mistakes like that because I normally only have one or two sets of Pokemon when I'm breeding them. But anyways, though, Venusaur is going to be my go-to pivot for his team now because it resists a lot of the things that he's going to be using. I was really, really crossing my fingers here that he would just go straight for Swords Dance and not try to substitute up, just because I kind of just wanted some damage on him without having something else die, and that's why normally I try to keep Forretress's trap card in place a little longer, so that when they start setting up to kill Forretress, it'll force him to switch out. So he is able to Swords Dance up, but even with that Swords Dance, Brick Break does not do enough damage to kill me from that range of HP, and I'm able to get some very crucial damage off in the form of Earthquake, which is nice, because that means hopefully Kabutops will be able to come in and revenge kill it. Kabutops kind of works as my anti-weather Pokemon on this team, just because it has X-scissors for the grass types, it has Aqua Jet and Waterfall, which both get boosted by rain, and then in sand, normally he's bulky enough to take non-grass attacks that are special type attacks, so that works out pretty well most of the time. I really like Kabutops. Um, Now here I was just going to put him to sleep because I figured if he was going to go for a substitute, he would have done it already. And I knew he had this Conch Elder to switch in, but I didn't really want to try predicting with something that had +2 attack on his side of the field, so that I wasn't really in a position to predict very well. Here he thinks that I'm probably going to switch out. He just goes for the Drain Punch, which I, again, wasn't really in a position to predict. I just had to deal with what was in front of me because I was threatened. I'm kind of on the back end of my priority here. Fortunately, Conch Elder has a ton of HP, so getting Leech Seed on it will make it a lot easier to take out. And of course, me being physically defensive means he's not going to do that much with a Drain Punch anyway. So I'm able to finish that off, which is nice. But of course, that also means that he's going to get another chance to bring in Galvantula. And here's where I make yet another misplay, in my opinion. Now, he goes for Bug Buzz, and that is great, because it's not going to take me out. And I go for Giga Drain. I was hoping that it would take him out, and it doesn't. I probably should have gone for Sludge Bomb, because in just taking out Galvantula, just taking it straight out and not worrying about it anymore, that would my Venusaur would not have been at critical health, which means that it would have been able to deal with other things on his team, because nothing on his team can hit Venusaur super effective. And so going for Sludge Bomb would give me so much more survivability. Because being physically defensive, I might have been able to take a hit from Haxorus and put it to sleep, especially since he's using the weak Dual Chop move instead of Outrage, which is used to break substitutes normally. I don't know. I think that was a really big turning point in the match for me. But right here, we'll see just how, I guess, not underrated, overrated Dual Chop is versus Outrage when he hits me, and it doesn't even do enough to take out Kabutops, who is not defensive at all. Of course, he got a crit on the second one, which allowed him to take me out, but you saw how much the first hit of it did, and it just would have doubled that. And of course, I missed my Stone Edge, so that doesn't help matters any. But anyways, though, I did enjoy that match. It uh, kind of helped me make a few tweaks to this team, namely giving Kingdra the correct moves, now that I'm no longer using it in VGC doubles. And I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say about this team, or now that it's my 1 year anniversary, my channel in general. I just had my 300 subscriber special a little while ago, and if there's any content that you guys would like to see that maybe I can provide, or even just a change in the way that I narrate or things like that, I would like to take those into consideration. Because at this point, I'm doing this channel for you. I started it off really doing it for myself, not thinking that I would get subscribers. But knowing that you guys enjoy my content, that means a lot to me, and I really, really appreciate you guys' support. So if you have any comments on the structure of this team, Infernape, Kabutops, Kingdra, Forretress, Venusaur, and Jellicent, or any of my channel content, I'd be interested